Wrong way. 4 leadership communication styles and how to speak to each one. Have you ever been frustrated trying to communicate with a leader? You talked to them the way that you wanted to be talked to and it didn't work. Here's what happened. You were probably speaking to the right leader in the wrong way. There are 4 different communication leadership styles. They each want information presented in a different way and they want to engage in a different way. So to be successful, you need to study the room and be prepared to pivot, because what leaders need sometimes changes with context. In this video, we'll cover the 4 leadership styles and how they map to the DISC profiles that you may already know, discuss the tells that help you decode the leader in the room, and provide a tool for each style to get your ideas heard instead of overlooked. Let's dive straight in. Speak to them. Every leader has a communication style that their brain is ready for. Communicate in their way and they lean in. Give them the same idea your way and the likelihood of them receiving it falls dramatically. Before they even get to processing your content, they're reacting to your packaging and delivery. You see, the person across the table is running their own operating system in their brain, and it's different than yours. Your work has to compile on their machine, not yours. It has to fit the way they think or it doesn't run. After decades of executive communication, I've named 4 leadership communication styles and how to communicate with them effectively. The executive, they want the decision in the next move. They're the D in DISC. The builder, they want to make it with you. They're the I in the DISC. The steward is known for support. They want to know how it fits with the organization and the people that will carry it. They're the S in DISC. The architect, they want to see it in their language and they want to see the work. They're the C in DISC. If you've worked with the DISC personality assessment, you already know the map. 40 years of workplace research sits behind this map, and I'm not replacing it. The DISC tells you a person's disposition. I'm adding what to hand to them. The letters describe who a person tends to be. The archetypes describe what the work in front of them needs. Before the meeting, ask one question. What leadership communication style are they ready for? The executive is red on the DISC. They're results focused. They want to make decisions, take action, move things forward. He's not looking for what you found, he's looking what to do next. Executives like to know the headline. You know the headline, you know the story. Journalists know that you never bury the news in paragraph 9. He wants the recommendation early in just enough frame to judge it. One line on the situation, why it matters now, your recommendation, and how to judge it. Not a build toward it. The frame exists in how to make the recommendation legible, and it's only a sentence or 2 long. The failure mode is the open with context. Too much context, too much of the journey, and you save the recommendation for the end. He has no frame to hang it on, so he builds his own while you're talking. And by slide 4, he's solving a different problem than the one you came to solve. For them, the detail reads, you do not know it matters. The tells. He slips to the last slide first. He asks for the bottom line before you finish your setup. He talks in headlines himself and gets restless during all the context setting. What to change? Put the situation and your recommendation in the first line. Then make every slide title a sentence with a verb so that all the titles together form an executive summary. Better yet, don't let this meeting be the first time you've seen the information. Send it the day before with 1 line on top. Here's the situation and the recommendation. He arrives ready to decide instead of orienting, and the meeting becomes a decision room instead of a presentation. The tool, titles only test. Before you walk in, read the titles only from top to bottom. If that alone tells the whole story, they'll follow you anywhere. And if he flips to the last slide before you even finish the setup, they're ready for decision mode. Stop the setup, lead with a recommendation. Offer the context and implications afterward. When you lead with the recommendation, the rest reads as the reasons they need for it. Builder. They're yellow on the DISC, the I. They're known for influence and energy. She's not evaluating your idea, she's looking to see if she's in it. Watch what she reaches for, not the deck, the marker. She thinks out loud, she talks more than you do, a lot with her hands. She riffs a lot and tells you a story about something adjacent. And somewhere in the middle of it, she builds on your idea and makes it better. That is not her losing focus, that is her working. So partner with her. She wants energy in the room and she wants to be part of it. Bring her something finished and dense to read and you're bringing her nothing to do. The failure mode is the one nobody sees coming. You present, she's enthusiastic. It seems like she receives it. She says yes with real warmth. You leave thinking you have it. then nothing happens. She was agreeing with you in the moment, not committing to the plan. The warmth was real, the decision never really got made. The tells, she talks more than you do. She riffs and goes on tangents and then comes back to your point. She says yes fast and warmly before the detail. She deflates when you go long on the numbers. She asks who else is in on this. What to do. Match her tempo and leave room for her to build. Invite her in, half build it and let her build the last 20% so her fingerprints are on it. Then name her contribution out loud and say who else is going to hear about it. The tool, the corner stamp. I built this one and reused it hundreds of times. Put draft for team input in the upper right hand corner. 4 words, they're an invitation. They tell her she's not being presented to, she's being asked in. And before you leave, say the commitment back out loud. You are in on this. Sarah's drafting the rollout. I'll have it to you by Friday. Warm agreement is not the decision until someone says it. Give her something to build and it brings the room with her. The steward is the S in DISC, the green color. They're known for support and purpose. You optimized for the project, she was optimizing the mission. She wants to know that this serves the mission of what the organization is here to do. And it's good for the people who carry it. She's holding 4 things that predate this meeting and will outlast it. The mission, the values, the people, and the precedent that this sets. None of this is really hers to spend, which is what makes her more of a steward than the owner. Philip Selznick named this work in 1957. The leader's distinctive job is to say what this place is for and to protect it. Communication training dropped that principle somewhere along the way, but it's still true and it's still important. Picture a plate that's already full. Something has to come off of it before something else goes on it. She's doing the math while you're still presenting. The failure mode is that you bring work that is locally correct but directionally off, with a clean timeline but no people in it. She then asks, how does this fit with where we're going? You hear the meeting drifting off topic, but that's the only reason she was ever in the room for. The tells. She quotes the mission or the values language back to you. She asks who owns it and how they'll find the time. She goes quiet at the word just, as in, we would just need to. What to do with this style leader? Lead with the fit and not the merit. Name the mission this serves before you name the cost. Then do the human arithmetic, who this affects and what comes off their plates to make room. The tool is the consistency line. 1 sentence before you ask about what this is consistent with. Then find the exception before she does, because for a steward, every exception sets a precedent. It sounds like this. This is consistent with our mission, with 1 exception. And if she asks where this fits before the mechanics, she's in mission mode. Stop making the case, name the mission, and who carries it. For this leader, when you name the fit and the costs, all of your proof finally counts. The architect is blue in color. They're the C in DISC. They like details and proof. He's not checking whether your idea is better. He's checking whether it holds. Every architect keeps a glossary. He wants 2 things and you have to bring both. He wants to see it in his language, inside his framework, and he wants to see the work, not just the conclusion. The failure mode, you generally bring a better idea, but you explain it in your words and you leave the analysis at home. It just doesn't matter to them that it's better. The language is foreign, so it doesn't quite fit how we think about this. And the conclusion arrives with the evidence that he can't check. Then he finds 1 number that's off and nothing that you said is safe anymore. To an architect, 1 error does not cost you 1 point, it costs you the whole case. The tells, he corrects your vocabulary. We call that X here. He asks where the number came from. He finds 1 thing you did not check. He wants the appendix, and he'll read it. What to do? Learn his framework and present inside it. Not as an extension of his system, not as a replacement for it. Then show your work. Put the assumptions on the page. Name the weakest number before he finds it and say what you did about it. The tool, the load-bearing glossary. Write down his 5 to 7 terms and map your work to it before you present. Your originality rides on his rails. And if he keeps correcting your words and asking where a number came from, he's in verification mode. Stop selling. Open the appendix and walk him through it. Use his language and show your work, and the idea stops being foreign. Now that you have the map of the 4 types, which style are you walking into? The posture's not the person necessarily, it's the moment. These are not 4 types of people, these are 4 states. The same leader may move through them in a single day. The executive who wants to call at 2 o'clock may have been a builder at 9 o'clock when the problem was still being framed. Nothing changed about him, the work just moved. So you don't just need to read the person, you need to read the place where the work sits. Nothing built yet, problem still being framed, you might expect the builder. Structure exists and is still being validated, you might expect the architect. Resources on the line, go or no go, You might expect the executive. Anything touching direction, mission, values, and people, expect the steward at any stage. 2 more signals, readable before you walk in the room. A short time slot points to the executive. In the strongest tell, which almost nobody uses, look at the style of their artifacts. People often ask for what they give. And if the energy drops and you lose them and you can't figure out what style they're in, stop and ask. What would make it easier for you to move forward? Their answer tells you where they are. Your one move. You can't change what a leader's brain is ready for, but you can change what you bring and how you engage them. Plan for the room you're walking into and design for it, or read the room and adapt to what they need. 1 tool per style. You already have all 4. The executive, the titles only test. The builder, the corner stamp. The steward, the consistency line. The architect, their framework. Pick one for the room you're walking into next and run it. Read the room, speak to them, and adapt. Subscribe for weekly ideas on how to turn research into practical advantage.